Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. You know the drill. We're back at it again with the r/entitledpeople Reddit stories. So let's just jump into it, shall we? Wanna block me in my driveway, officer? It's gonna be another minute or two on coffee. About a decade ago, I worked an early morning shift at a fast food restaurant. We opened at 6 a.m., so I had to be at work at 5 a.m. I would leave my house at about 4:45 a.m. every morning. My management was pretty relaxed about the opening shift. Clocking in up to 10 minutes late wasn't really an ordeal, as long as you showed up ready to go. I came outside at 4:45 to find that a local police officer has pulled someone over and is now blocking my driveway. This has happened before, but normally in the afternoon. And normally I just ask the officer to move forwards or back a couple of feet, and then I can pull in or out of the driveway. No sweat. This officer, however, angrily informs me that I will have to wait until he's done. I snap a picture of his car, text it to my manager, and explain my tardiness. 40 minutes later, the police officer finally moves. I scramble into the car and head to work. I get there 15 minutes before we open. I frantically start to brew tea, fetch ice, having to condense my 50-minute routine into 15. I almost forgot to brew coffee. Opening time rolls around, and the first group of customers come in. It's a group of our local police officers, led by the captain. I guess they're about to do a shift change. One of the officers in the group is the one who blocked my driveway. Anyway, the captain orders coffee, and I regretfully inform him that there's a 5-minute wait on coffee, because I got to work extremely late. Captain asks why, so I pulled out my phone and explained that one of his officers blocked my driveway for 45 minutes for a routine traffic stop. Captain proceeds to chew out that officer in front of all of his colleagues and exclaims that nothing short of a life or death emergency should block my driveway if it will interfere with him getting his morning coffee. It was never blocked again, and the captain always got his coffee at 6 a.m. without interruption. OP, God kissed you on the forehead that day, because these are the sort of instant karma situations that you can only dream to be a part of. You know, like that classic scene where the potential employee is a D-bag and cuts off the boss that's about to be interviewing them, and then the D-bag walks in and sees the guy that he just cut off and gave the finger, and then the boss just gives them that smug look. No? Just me? Okay. Neighbors used my property as their own, paid for a new fence. I recently bought a house and have been having some work done before I move in. It was empty on the market for about 6 or 8 months before I bought it. One morning, I got a call from my contractor asking me about moving the cars in my driveway. And of course, I had no idea what he was talking about. I hadn't even moved in yet. I left my job site and drove nearly a half hour to get there. As soon as I arrived, the people on the east side of me were walking toward the cars. I asked if they were their cars, and they said yes. They told me that they had been parking there for a few months with permission from the owners. I informed them that I was the new owner, and they can't park there any longer. We went back and forth, and with the intention of being a good neighbor and trying to show some goodwill, I agreed to allow them to park there for a few weeks until I move in, with the agreement that they move them by 6 a.m. every morning. The rest of the week went by without incident. The contractor called me about scheduling a walkthrough on Saturday, and we set a time for early afternoon. When I arrived, there were 4 cars in the driveway and nowhere to park. The only street parking is 2 blocks away. I called them and asked them to move their vehicles, reminding them of our agreement. After 20 minutes, they finally came out and moved them. Speaking with them, they claimed to have misunderstood and thought our agreement only referred to weekdays and not weekends. I corrected them and moved on. Sunday morning, I grabbed a trailer and loaded some furniture to take over and store in the garage. Once again, their cars were in the driveway. I called them and got voicemail. I texted and said that they had until a tow truck arrived to get them moved. No answer. I called the tow company. 45 minutes later, 2 tow trucks show up, backed in, and hooked up to the cars. All of a sudden, the neighbors were home. They ran out to stop their cars from being towed, and it ended up costing them a little over $300 to get them unhooked. I called my contractor and asked if he knew someone who could put in a driveway gate, and he did. I let the neighbors know that they can no longer use my driveway. On Wednesday, I get a call from the gate installer telling me that there are cars in the driveway. I called them and said tow trucks are on their way. They moved. The gate was installed called, and I went by to pick up the opener that evening. The neighbor husband came out to confront me, and I opted to just call the police department and deal with it legally. That Saturday, I went by to accept an outdoor furniture delivery and check on things when I noticed a towel beside my pool and a small kid's flotation device. My initial thought was that I just hadn't noticed it before, so I wrote it off and threw them both in the trash. On Saturday, the movers arrived with everything and we began moving things in. About 7 p.m., my daughter and I left to go grab some dinner, arriving back at the house around 9:30. The neighbors were in my pool. They were hanging out and using my furniture. When I opened the door and began raising hell, they told the kids to go to the house, and the children ran to a corner of our fence and just walked through. They had cut out the privacy fence so it could be removed and had been using the pool at their leisure for who knows how long. Again, I called the police and filed a complaint. The dad was arrested for trespassing, damage to private property, and an outstanding warrant, as well as the oldest boy for an outstanding warrant. I replaced the fence with a new one because they had destroyed the posts, runners, and pickets by removing and reinstalling the panel. Small Claims awarded me the total cost of the privacy fence, which came out to $3,800K. The following Monday morning around 5 a.m., their cars were parked in the street where there's no street parking, so I made a phone call. They were gone when I left at 7 a.m. I haven't been paid yet, but I did notice a for rent sign in their yard this morning, so that's just as good. Good riddance. Edit/update. 1. For those of you suggesting a security system, one was installed that next week, along with 6 cameras around the house, a Ring doorbell, and a fence around the pool itself to keep the dogs and my grandson out of it. I'll be closing and covering the pool in the next few weeks. 2. Met the owner of the house yesterday evening. The house will be empty by the end of the week. They were evicted for non-payment of rent, likely due to tow charges, and the husband not working because he was incarcerated, where he remains. Warrant was for back child support. Wife apologized and claimed that she was told they had permission to use the pool. They didn't. 3. The material for the fence was purchased through my company account. I'm a structural engineer and commercial construction manager for a large local GC. Only 2 posts had to be replaced and a handful of runners. The rest was just 8-foot 1x6.5-inch pressure-treated pickets, which cost me $260 per stick, times 210 pickets purchased. The rest was labor and fasteners, so altogether about $900 for material and stain, $150 for a dumpster, and the rest went toward labor to finish it on the weekend. Fun fact, I'm also a property investor/flipper. Been in construction, commercial, civil, industrial, and residential for 35 years. Not my first fence, nor my first asshole neighbor. Before the paint experts jump on board, I know how long I have to wait before pressure washing and staining the fence. 4. The only petty part about this was me twisting the knife by having their cars towed from the street when they weren't affecting me at all. Oh, this one has me just beaming with petty satisfaction. You know, I hate calling people trash, but dang, those neighbors are trash. Lying, inconsiderate, non-child support paying trash. I've complained about my neighbors before, and actually, the reason they park their 16 vehicles in front of my house is because of this exact same thing. Like in the story, the house was vacant for several months, so of course it was just an absolute free-for-all. And once a precedent has been set for inconsiderate people, it is extremely hard to break that precedent. So the previous owners strung some Christmas lights on this really large tree that we have in our yard, and one of the neighbors trespassed onto our property to plug it in, and when my husband asked what the F he was doing on our property, he was just like, the old neighbor that lives here always plugged them in. And the thing is that he didn't even plug it into our house. He plugged it in to the other neighbor's house. So not only did he trespass onto our property, but now he's stealing someone's electricity. But every problem we've had has always been, the old neighbor did this, the old neighbor did that, the old neighbor let us do this and that. Yeah, well, the old neighbor doesn't live here anymore. Pretend a neuralizer has swept the entire neighborhood and has erased the old neighbors from your mind, okay? But anyway, I will stop ranting now. I hope you enjoyed this petty revenge story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!